In the early hours of December 26, 1996, a frantic 911 call from the affluent Ramsey family home in Boulder, Colorado, set in motion one of the most perplexing and controversial criminal investigations in American history. 6-year-old JonBenét Patricia Ramsey, a child beauty queen, had vanished from her bed. What began as a kidnapping case quickly evolved into a homicide investigation that would captivate the nation for decades to come. The Ramsey family, consisting of father JonBenét Ramsey, mother Patricia Patsy Ramsey, and 9-year-old brother Burke, had celebrated Christmas Day with friends before returning home that evening. By the following morning, their lives would be forever altered. At approximately 5:52 a.m. on December 26th, Patsy Ramsey called 911, reporting that she had found a ransom note demanding $118,000 for her daughter's safe return. This 3-page document, unusually long for a ransom note, was written on paper from a pad found in the Ramsey home. The specificity of the ransom amount, matching John Ramsey's recent bonus, immediately raised questions. Boulder Police Department officers arrived at the scene within minutes. Despite the kidnapping report, the house was not immediately secured as a crime scene. Friends of the family were allowed to enter and move freely throughout the home, potentially contaminating evidence. At approximately 1:05 p.m., John Ramsey, accompanied by a family friend, discovered JonBenét's body in the wine cellar of the basement. The child was found with a garrote around her neck, her wrists bound, and duct tape over her mouth. The autopsy would later reveal that she had suffered a skull fracture and had been sexually assaulted. The Boulder Police Department's handling of the crime scene came under immediate scrutiny. Critical mistakes were made in the crucial early hours of the investigation. The home was not properly sealed off. Potential evidence was not immediately collected, and the victims, John and Patsy Ramsey, were not separated for questioning, as is standard procedure in such cases. As news of the murder spread, media descended on Boulder. The case quickly became a national sensation, fueled by the victims' participation in child beauty pageants and the family's wealth and social status. Tabloids and TV news programs competed for scoops, often prioritizing sensationalism over factual reporting. The investigation initially focused on the parents, John and Patsy Ramsey. Their behavior in the aftermath of the crime was scrutinized, with some investigators finding it suspicious. However, DNA evidence found on JonBenét's clothing did not match any family members. In the months and years that followed, numerous theories emerged. Some investigators believed an intruder had committed the crime, pointing to a broken basement window and unidentified DNA evidence. Others remained convinced the killer was someone within the household, citing the ransom note's peculiarities and the improbability of an intruder spending hours in the home undetected. The case took many twists and turns over the years. In 1999, a grand jury voted to indict John and Patsy Ramsey on charges of child abuse, resulting in death and accessory to a crime. However, the district attorney refused to sign the indictment, citing insufficient evidence. In 2008, advancements in DNA technology led to the Ramsey family being formally exonerated by the Boulder District Attorney's Office. The DNA profile found on JonBenét's clothing was determined to belong to an unknown male, supporting the intruder theory. Despite one of the most extensive and expensive criminal investigations in Colorado history, the case remains unsolved. The Boulder Police Department continues to receive tips and pursue leads, but no arrests have been made. The investigation into JonBenét's murder was fraught with complications from the outset. The ransom note, a crucial piece of evidence, became a subject of intense scrutiny. Written on paper from the Ramsey home and with a pen found in the house, its length and content were highly unusual for a kidnapping scenario. Handwriting experts analyzed the note extensively, with some concluding that Patsy Ramsey could not be excluded as the author, though this was never definitively proven. The autopsy, conducted on December 27, 1996, by Boulder County coroner Dr. John Meyer, revealed critical details about JonBenét's death. The official cause was listed as asphyxia by strangulation associated with craniocerebral trauma. The autopsy also found evidence of sexual assault, though there was debate among experts about whether this was chronic or acute. Importantly, undigested pineapple was found in JonBenét's digestive tract, a detail that would become significant as the investigation unfolded. In the days following the murder, police collected DNA samples and fingerprints from family members and close associates. They also discovered a bowl of pineapple on the kitchen counter with Burke and Patsy's fingerprints on it, despite Patsy's insistence that she hadn't fed the children that night. This discrepancy added to the suspicions surrounding the family's account of events. The Ramseys' behavior in the aftermath of the murder drew criticism and suspicion. On January 1, 1997, they appeared on CNN for an interview, a move many considered unusual for grieving parents. Their decision to hire separate lawyers and a public relations firm also raised eyebrows among investigators and the public. As the investigation progressed, several key figures emerged. Detective Linda Arndt, the first detective on the scene, faced criticism for her handling of the crime scene. Lou Smith, a veteran homicide detective brought in to assist, became convinced of the Ramseys' innocence and developed the intruder theory. Steve Thomas, a lead detective on the case, resigned in 1998, citing his belief that the district attorney's office had mishandled the investigation. The case took an unexpected turn in August 2006 when John Mark Carr, a schoolteacher in Thailand, confessed to the murder. However, his DNA did not match the evidence found at the crime scene, and he was quickly ruled out as a suspect. In 2008, Boulder District Attorney Mary Lacey officially exonerated the Ramsey family based on new DNA evidence. Using touch DNA analysis, a profile was developed from JonBenét's long johns that did not match any family members. This led to a formal apology to the Ramseys for the suspicion they had endured. Despite this exoneration, controversy continued to surround the case. In 2013, it was revealed that the 1999 grand jury had actually voted to indict John and Patsy Ramsey, but the district attorney at the time, Alex Hunter, had refused to sign the indictment due to a lack of evidence. The investigation has continued to evolve with advancements in forensic technology. In 2016, the Boulder Police Department and District Attorney's Office announced they would pursue new DNA testing on evidence from the case. However, as of 2023, these efforts have not led to any significant breakthroughs. Throughout the years, various theories and potential suspects have emerged in the JonBenét Ramsey case. One such individual was Gary Oliva, a convicted pedophile who had been in the Boulder area at the time of the murder. In 2019, Oliva allegedly confessed to the crime in letters sent to a former high school classmate, but Boulder police stated that he had been ruled out as a suspect through DNA testing. Another person of interest was Michael Helgoth, a local auto salvage worker who died by suicide in 1997, shortly after a press conference where authorities announced they were closing in on a suspect. Some investigators believed Helgoth may have been involved, but DNA evidence did not support this theory. The case has also been marked by internal conflicts within the investigative team. In September 1998, Lou Smith resigned from the investigation, stating that he believed the Boulder Police Department was wrongly focused on the Ramsey family and ignoring evidence of an intruder. Smith continued to work on the case independently until his death in 2010, compiling a substantial file of evidence supporting the intruder theory. In 2016, as the 20th anniversary of JonBenét's death approached, several new developments occurred. Burke Ramsey, JonBenét's brother, gave his first public interview on the Dr. Phil show, adamantly denying any involvement in his sister's death. That same year, a team of investigators presented a controversial theory in a CBS documentary suggesting that Burke may have accidentally killed his sister, with the parents then staging a cover-up. This led to a defamation lawsuit from Burke against CBS, which was settled out of court in 2019. The 911 call made by Patsy Ramsey on the morning of December 26, 1996, has been a subject of ongoing analysis. In 2016, the 911 operator, Kimberly Archuleta, spoke publicly for the first time about her recollections of the call. She stated that she heard voices in the background after Patsy thought she had hung up the phone, potentially contradicting the Ramseys' claim that their son Burke was asleep at the time. In recent years, John Ramsey has continued to push for further investigation into his daughter's murder. In May 2022, he petitioned Colorado Governor Jared Polis to allow an independent agency to conduct new DNA testing on evidence from the case, citing advancements in genetic genealogy that have helped solve other cold cases. The Boulder Police Department has maintained that the case remains open and active. In December 2021, they announced that they had processed more than 1,500 pieces of evidence and analyzed nearly 1,000 DNA samples related to the case. They also stated their intention to use new DNA technology to potentially identify JonBenét's killer. In a significant development in February 2023, previously unreleased documents from Lou Smith's investigation were shared with current investigators. These documents included an unredacted 1997 report showing that DNA evidence recovered from under JonBenét's fingernails and from her clothing did not match family members or others close to the household, contradicting the suspicion that had long surrounded the Ramsey family. The JonBenet Ramsey case has had a lasting impact on American culture and the criminal justice system. It highlighted the challenges of high-profile investigations and the potential pitfalls of media scrutiny in criminal cases. The case also sparked debates about child beauty pageants and their potential risks. In the years following JonBenét's murder, several books were published about the case, each offering different perspectives and theories. Former lead detective Steve Thomas wrote JonBenét Inside the Ramsey Murder Investigation in 2000, criticizing the handling of the case and pointing to Patsy Ramsey as the likely killer. In contrast, Lou Smith co-authored The Cases That Haunt Us in 2000, presenting evidence for the intruder theory. The Ramsey family also published their own account. In 2000, John and Patsy Ramsey released The Death of Innocence, detailing their experiences and maintaining their innocence. John Ramsey later wrote The Other Side of Suffering in 2012, discussing how his faith helped him cope with the tragedy and subsequent scrutiny. In 2006, Patsy Ramsey died of ovarian cancer without ever seeing her daughter's killer brought to justice. John Ramsey has since remarried and continues to advocate for further investigation into the case. The investigation has been marked by a series of technological advancements and their application to the evidence. In 2008, the technique of touch DNA analysis was used to develop a DNA profile from JonBenét's clothing, leading to the Ramsey's exoneration. However, subsequent reviews of the DNA evidence have raised questions about the interpretation of these results. In 2016, the Boulder Police Department and the District Attorney's Office announced a new round of DNA testing using more advanced techniques. They submitted 30 samplers to the Colorado Bureau of Investigation for updated analysis. However, the results of these tests have not been publicly released. The case has also been the subject of numerous television documentaries and series, each presenting different aspects of the investigation and various theories. These productions have kept the case in the public eye and have sometimes led to new information coming to light. In 2019, genetic genealogy emerged as a powerful tool in solving cold cases, as demonstrated by the arrest of the Golden State Killer. This development led to renewed calls for applying this technique to the DNA evidence in the JonBenét case. However, the viability of the available DNA samples for this type of analysis remains uncertain. As of 2023, the Boulder Police Department maintains that the case is still open and active. They continue to receive tips and pursue leads, although the volume has decreased over the years. The department has stated that they have processed more than 1,500 pieces of evidence and analyzed nearly 1,000 DNA samples to date. In recent years, there has been a push for greater transparency in the case. In 2022, John Ramsey launched a petition calling on the governor of Colorado to allow an independent agency to conduct new DNA testing on the evidence. This effort reflects ongoing frustration with the pace and direction of the official investigation. In February 2023, a significant development occurred when the family of Lou Smith, the late detective who had long advocated for the intruder theory, released a treasure trove of previously unseen documents from his personal investigation. These documents included an unredacted 1997 report showing that DNA evidence found under JonBenét's fingernails and on her clothing did not match family members or close associates. This revelation further supported the intruder theory and raised questions about why the Boulder Police Department had continued to focus on the Ramsey family despite this early DNA evidence. The release of these documents coincided with the publication of a new book, Lou and JonBenét, a legendary lawman's quest to solve a child beauty queen's murder, written by John Wesley Anderson, a friend of Lou Smith. The book details Smith's tireless efforts to solve the case and argues that the Boulder police ignored crucial DNA evidence that could have led to identifying JonBenét's killer. As the case approaches its third decade, the impact of time on the investigation becomes increasingly apparent. Key witnesses have passed away, memories have faded, and some physical evidence may have degraded. However, advancements in forensic technology continue to offer hope for eventually solving the case. In November 2022, the Boulder Police Department announced that they would bring the Ramsey case before the Colorado Cold Case Review Team in 2023. This team, formed in 2009, consists of professional investigative, analytical, and forensic experts from across the state who meet several times a year to review unsolved cases. As of September 2023, nearly 2 years after DNA samples from over 1,000 people across 19 states were collected, the Boulder police reported having several people on their radar, though no suspects have been publicly named. They described the investigation as a marathon, not a sprint, indicating that while progress is being made, the resolution of the case may still be some time away. The JonBenét Ramsey case stands as one of the most infamous, unsolved murders in American history. A complex web of evidence, theories, and unanswered questions.